pass my prayer beads? Wait.
Live nyo naman, screen record mo.
Hello.
Coba di-mainin lagi. Post nya.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it works?
Yeah.
You screen record it, then you film with these 3 cameras, and then you... Well, today's a special day.
Okay. Hold on.
No, prayer beads. Today's a very special day because...
Ready? In 3, 2, 1.
Are you ready?
Of course.
Today's a very special day because I'm being joined by a person who's been very supportive of me and during a very difficult time. But more important than what she has been for me is what she is for many people. It's an inspiration and a teacher of some yogic science that has been overlooked for years. Even the yogis have been guilty of being part of a society that has undervalued the divine feminine and is not respected in themselves and around them. And so what a very positive energy it is for us to balance these 2 very important parts of our psyche and body. So the divine feminine is on a mission. Lately it's been ascending. There's an eminent rise of the divine feminine. And so I have a yogic priestess. I've got to find her. A yogic priestess is going to join us. She's not on yet. But this yogic priestess, Anna is her name, the high priestess, deeply studied yogi, who comes from a lineage of great yogis. And she's someone I met here, really got to know here in Bali. And she travels the world. She has many followers who support her and who she supports. Mostly it's her giving. Of course, we're all learning as we give as we get, right? And she receives her inspiration from God and from the higher teachers, most who are not amongst us. I believe she has antennas. A lot of us talk about that thing in us. This one, this one, this one, the other one, this one. I believe she has a real connection. All of us have it, but we're not in tune. And so sometimes our intuition comes to us and gives us proper direction. When they say thy will, right? That's what they mean. Thy will is the higher self speaking to you. And she's, so there's a kind of call. But she's a person who I believe is in touch with, or has studied and has antennas that connect her to many, many insights. The most basic insights are taught over and over again, but never listened to. Like we know what's good, quote unquote, and what's bad. But we still do the same shit anyway. Sometimes we don't learn and listen to our intuition, even if it's important and direct and it's focused. So I want to try to see if I can get Anna, this priestess. Oh my goodness, she's not on. Maybe I'll call her. And we'll go right to her when we actually do the editing. We'll go right to her, but she's not. Anna. Healer, priestess, that's how I have her. Sending infinite, her last text. If I just read the text she sends about the infinite love she sends, it's her heart that speaks these words. So I'm FaceTiming and see if I can get her to pick up, then I can get her to call us. I've spoken to her like 3 times today. Hi, Anna, DJ Analog. How are you? She sends a heart. I need you. Love you. It's going to be all right. Well, where in the world is Anna? She's like, I just spoke to her. We said we're going to have this call. So, again, we're talking about the eminent and rise of the divine feminine. And we're talking about the science of connecting, because yoga is a science. And this yogic priestess that I'm going to bring on, is deeply studied and has written books on and teaches subjects about the inclusivity that the society needs, but also each individual must. It starts with ourselves our
Your
connection,
call has been forwarded to an automated
our
voice
connection to
messaging
the
system.
self promotes infinite wisdom. But we're all seeking self. I always say, like the people who moved here. I'm writing a third book. I've written 2 books already since I've been here. But the third book is called To Bali with Love. And in this book, it's about what are people learning. And then you come here. I live in a very holy town, that this Ubud, this magic city. It's called the Medicine City. This is actually the city that movie was made about, Julia Roberts movie. What the fuck's the name of it? You guys know. Eat, Pray, Love. You can barely speak English, but you know the movie.
Yeah.
You know niggas know, right? Because it was made about here in Ketut. If I have a nickel for every healer named Ketut. How many healers named Ketut? Many, many healers are named Ketut, because Ketut means second.
4.
The 4th born is named Ketut. So a lot of people named Ketut. So in the movie there was a Ketut, a healer. And then there was this whole experience that she went through. And people come here seeking self. Self-healers are here. Self-teachers. Because they're studying their self as they teach. A lot of people are working from here and teaching people around the world online ways to heal themselves through sexual trauma. There's a lot of tantric teachers here. Women who are teaching people to use their sexuality as growth, as support systems for their spiritual growth versus something that tears them apart, which is what they have been experiencing in the outer world. So they come here and they're tantric teachers. And the women come here who are Reiki masters who've studied the electric, they've studied Reiki and they're studying higher frequencies here. And there are people who are teaching yogic science, many, many yoga teachers, right? I mean, but they're studying the Yoga Sutras, the Yoga Scriptures, you know, the Bhagavad Gita, Hatha Yoga Pradipika, the Upanishads, and all the great scriptures. So it's always learning here and always teaching. And the teaching thing is pretty phenomenal, because if you go to a cafe, you say, what do you do? Well, I teach, you know, the tantric thing. I don't know why I keep going back to the few. There's so many subjects about healing and self-study. There are many Ayurvedic scientists. There are many naturopathic doctors. There are many people who are here holding circles for women, women's circles, holding men's circles, men who have been so insensitive now coming in circles and sitting and learning what it is that they're suppressing in them, all seeking their feminine side so they could then be more sensitive, more thoughtful, more compassionate, more loving. This is something that's been suppressed in what we refer to as toxic masculinity. So there's a lot of learning and healing being done here in this place. And that is what this place is, a magic city, medicine city, Ubud, is for. So it's a whole holistic massage therapist, right? Everyone is healing. We're all getting inside where God sits. And we're letting go of some of the stuff that's holding us down from the outside. And so there are more specific sciences. Say, well, I'm studying myself, I'm meditating, and you rest in perfection and learn more and more about the self. You learn more and more about God. And then you start to let go of the noise. The suffering is in the noise. It's in the outside. And so, there she is. No, that's Adrian. Hey, Adrian. What is... There she is. She's there. I'll send her an invite. It won't send an invite. You have to request. There she is. I see her now. But I have to get her to... Unable to join. Why are you unable to join, Anna? I've been talking about you for the last... So, Anna Naturalista, we're going to have her on. We'll have to edit some of this. I talked about her in this subject. But it says unable to join. Why do you think a person would be unable to join on Instagram? Why would she be unable to join?
Connection?
Is it connection? But she's not actually, look, she's not requesting. She's not one of the requesting people. She's, see, she's down here. Yeah, I'm going to send her an invite, but it won't.
Which one?
The top.
This one?
Yes. See?
Um,
It says unable to join. But everybody else can join.
yeah, maybe because I don't know.
It's her connection? No.
Yes, I think.
It's her connection because everybody else can join me. Let me see, DJ Analog.
The general must upgrade apps in order to.
Oh, you got to upgrade your app in order to join DJ Analog. But Anna just says simply
Yeah.
unable to join.
Because the connection.
All right, well, let me call her. So, what I was talking about was so important to so many people. This connection between the masculine, one of the things the masculine has in his character, and Anna will talk more specifically to this, is he's a gatherer, right? Protector, gatherer. He has many virtues that he's more inclined to use. She too, because men and women both have feminine and masculine qualities. Feminine qualities are in men and masculine qualities are in women. And so when a woman is in her divine feminine, in herself, when she rests in that power, that superpower is compassion, is love, is acceptance. And you know, she has strong connections to her masculine side when she's risen, and when she's connected, and when she's in union. And then she has boundaries, she has power, and she's thoughtful as a leader, she's compassionate as a leader, she's nurturing as a leader. And masculine qualities in her give her the power to use that thoughtfulness, that compassion, but to be strong. And here's this divine feminine. This is what I'm describing. And you may have to just, see, I see you here, Anna, but you may have to request, because for some reason it says you're unable to join. We can always do this again. I mean, I think it's such an important thing. Let me see if I can call it. Anna. So there is this. Can we get her on the screen somehow? Anna, darling, I'm having such a hard time connecting you. I hope I haven't overstayed or understayed the power of the divine feminine. What, can you put it on?
Yes. Let me do it.
How do you go to do it?
I will do the screen record first.
Oh, she's going to screen record you.
Here we go.
So you're screen recording her, but it's not on Instagram.
It's not Instagram.
So people on Instagram can't see her.
Yeah. Yeah, you can.
But can I turn the face so they'll see it now? Wait. This is a priestess, a beautiful yogic priestess, Anna. We're going to use this screen recording and put it in. Then she's also sent us more information. She runs many programs, has many clients. And her clients, she'll tell you about, really help her to share these important messages. So I was, stumbling around, some of the lessons you taught me and lessons that are in our scriptures are taught from our teachers about men. When you say the divine feminine is rising, they somehow feel suppressed. They somehow don't understand that it's rising in them as well as rising around them. And you need a teacher, a divine teacher, to teach you what that means, and so you won't feel suppressed but empowered. And here's Anna to teach us about. Tell me whatever it is that comes to your mind. I don't know if you heard what I said about you and about the combination of powerful masculine and feminine together and in union. But you can tell us a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you, Russell. So honored to be here and share the love with all of your listeners and viewers tonight. And in that, there actually is a beautiful course that we teach at Sacred Intelligence Agency called the Harmonization of Masculine and Feminine Within. So this is about a balancing and not a takeover. This is a unification process and a harmonization of bringing back that which was in aggressive or the wounded aspects of both the feminine and masculine. Whereas there's been a very, very long old story of shame and blame, whether you want to go as far back as Jesus being shamed on the cross and the women and the Marys being blamed, or even Adam and Eve to, oh, well, you picked the apple. Yeah, well, you took the first bite. Yeah, well, you were sexy. Well, you had sex. Well, come on. We all get down to the fundamental innocence of love, of desiring to be loved, desiring to share our love. Those are the only aspects that really matter when we come back to, oh, well, what is rising and what is being embraced here? It's not about the rising of the goddess and the rising of women in this feminist way of women acting like men or men acting like women. It's more all of us coming back to that center point of realizing that everything is perfect. Everyone is in that balance and everyone is innocent. Right? That's the responsibility that a lot of us leaders are now taking and really stepping forth with the new solutions, with the new teachings, as you're representing so beautifully. And in the Divine Feminine, it's part of our matriarchal aspect. And once we get past and get through the healing of the scorned maiden or the wounded mother aspect, we get to the matriarchal aspect of wanting to embrace and hold our men and hold our masculine so that we have the balance of that fierce love of the feminine and that creatrix energy that's really balanced with the force of action. And that is really the dynamic and the principles of energy that we can relate to within our own self, within relationships, within all balance of life, and that polarity and that balance of the masculine and feminine energies that you're speaking of.
But wait, I have to go back to something you said in the very beginning. You talked about your organization and how people can connect with you and learn from you. And I think that's the most important thing, that people don't hear you just describe the beauty of the Divine Feminine and the understanding of how that relates to and connects perfectly with the Divine Masculine. How do you teach, because this is a course, it's not you hear it and walk away. There's a practice, a series of practices that you have to teach them. How do we do that?
Well, this is where we have a lot of knowledge and a lot of beautiful teachers in the world. And what I've learned through the course of my own study and being born into and raised through a holistic and meditative community and parents my whole life, plus healing from multiple accidents, 2.5 minutes on the other side, a few other experiences that brought me to this awareness of this balanced and harmonization principles. And that's really what I've learned to teach to my clients and continuously learn. If you're a teacher, then you're also an infinite student, right? And that's the balance that we get to be yes and both. So with that, we have knowledge. Then through experience, we then create wisdom. And that's where we have the tangible integration. This is what I find has been missing most throughout my entire lifetime of living through different spiritual teachers and communities and concepts, is that real integration steps of how do I do the baby step change of belief systems in my mind of actual programmed habitual forms or belief or stories, right? That were either imposed by different societal things or different from our family systems, right? We get to evolve ourselves, especially as conscious adults that we are now, people waking up so beautifully. It's time that everybody gets to do this for themselves.
Well, Anna, you say we're waking up, and as a yogi living here in the bubble, you know where I live. I live here in the bubble. I'm always on, and I watch too much news, I'm sure. And, I'm always concerned for my friends and family who are not living in this bubble. And it's not the bubble, it's the heart. The bubble I have that really surrounds, that saves me most.
The heavy bubble, yes.
But the heavy bubble, the real, but the other one, I live in Bali. People are here studying their self. They're aware of what the Divine Feminine is. They're teaching these subjects. They're studying how to find the feminine and embrace their feminine identity and their power, their feminine power in men. Men are finding this. Bali is a feminine place. You are Hindus, you know that, right? Bali itself is a feminine. So there's that here. But when we say we're waking up, we're watching a world that looks like it's imploding. Give us a word of inspiration.
I'm trying to hold my phone up because I was joining on the computer. Let's see if that'll stay there. I'm sorry, so give us a context on what now?
No, I was saying that the fact is people think that the world is imploding. And, that's, of course, each person has their own set of eyes, but how do you give them hope and tell them, what you see in the rise of the divine feminine, we see happening even as it looks that the world may be imploding. Tell us about this next generation of leadership and beauty and connectivity.
Well, what is really beautiful in evolution, and what many, many great leaders have also pointed to, is that when we have systems that are making themselves obsolete, then we know that it's necessary, it's a time of a new innovation and new creative time to be inspired for solutions. And here's a delicate balance where everything is perfect, Bethel. Everything is perfect, my loves. Everything is always perfect. It's a matter of your perspective. Right now we have a major differentiation going on in the polarities of perspective extremes, right? So it depends what you're watching, what you're viewing, what is your lens right now, and who are you speaking to? What are you choosing to believe in and have as your energetic input to then react to your emotions or inspire you, right? Many people are being triggered away, is the new term, right? By being angry, however, and going out and actually putting energy into that which is causing anger. Well, honey, that energy is cultivating the beast. We don't want to do that. That's distracting you from your purpose and your soul actual wanting to take that trigger and that which makes you feel uncomfortable or angry or whatever, and go into inspired action. Be like, oh, you know what? There's something wrong with that, and I'm going to fix it, and I know how, and I know who, and I can fix this and do that, and you over here, you do this. That is what we're here for, is the inspired change. That's what we're being triggered away from.
So what you're saying is, we say it all the time, and there's all these different ways to say it, but it never rings a bell until it rings a bell. But she's saying that you have to embrace these struggles and then use these struggles as your teachers and then go out into the world and fix that. I said, people, you can only do what you think is good. But whilst doing that, it's pretty good. While we think it's good, and we go about our work and we serve God as we are told or inspired, we lift ourselves and the vibration around us. So what Anna is teaching us, is telling us, is that we have to take what, when the world looks like it's darkest, it's showing us what we need light. And then we have to step in and be that light. And this woman has been there for me in that way in many instances. And to understand, as yogis, we talk about the divine feminine, but yet we have a very matriarch, we have a very patriarch. We, as yogi, what men would only be the teachers, remember, right? And then but they don't forget, they always talk about the Lord of Love being Krishna, but who birthed Krishna, right? It's very little talk, Shakti, right? So where does it come from, your power as a man? This doesn't diminish you. If you understand your feminine, it makes you so much stronger. And that's such a very, very important principle, that you teach men to let go and be greater, right? And to let go and be the divine masculine by recognizing the divine feminine in you. Those things go together. There's no one. So there's a lot of people who are suffering and who are angry. We live in a very polarized world. And without giving up on principles that matter to me, I said something I want to share with you, Anna. I said even though I believe everybody should have health care, this is all political things, right? Everybody should have higher education equally. Everybody should have the rights, certain inalienable human rights, of course, they should have. All of these things they say are part of a liberal agenda. You should marry who you want. You should, there are many things. I don't think we should abuse animals. Right? These are all progressive ideas. But still, in this world where people are suffering, I want to occupy the radical center. I want to be a bridge builder. Because everybody thinks they're doing good. Right? The right wing, and you may think if you're one of those progressives, because progressives are listeners. They're not angry. Our left wing is angry as fuck. Do we not see the left being more angry or equally as angry as the people that we criticize for having opinions? If I woke up in the morning, I'll tell you this story. If I woke up in the morning and they told me God whispered in my ear that abortion was evil, say if they did, and I came out and said abortion was evil, my Instagram would explode. I get more response than I ever. Or if I said, I'm allowed to think, because God gives me my answers, not the left wing. So I really feel that we live in a very polarized world, and I want to be a bridge builder. And you have chosen to be a bridge builder.
Absolutely. And bridging consciousness is the greatest inspiration for us right now. In the aspect of a lot of the ancient Hindu religions, it's known as the Antakarana, the bridge of consciousness. In the prophecies that we're speaking into about our timeline right now, this decade of 2020 has been more prophesized of all timelines than any other decade of any ancient scripts, right? So that means all the tribes, all prophecies are pointing to the time that we chose to be here right now. Every one of us chose for this awakening and to be a part of this inspired action into divine service, back into really living the truth of who we are, not this formed kind of robotic system, right? We're meant to be more in that variable biomimicry of nature. That's a lot of the leadership skills and tools that I've been teaching to the companies and the entrepreneurs who are bringing through these innovations and solutions like the time bank that I mentioned before, right?
I want to stop again. I want to talk about, what is the name of your program again for the listeners?
SacredIntelligenceAgency.com.
SacredIntelligenceAgency.com is where she has programs to teach you to integrate your feminine and your masculine, and so that you can rise, so that you can be a greater servant, and you can be a happier, healthier person, a functioning human being. And this is what she does for a living, and I just wanted to make sure that I share that again, because very important. SacredIntelligence.com, right?
Sacred Intelligence Agency, yes.
SacredIntelligenceAgency.com. And so I just wanted to share that again, and I wanted to learn more from Anna. But what she's saying about just the most basic, people join us and they leave us, and sometimes messages, all of them have to be repeated. You're saying that each of us has a masculine and a feminine. And begin there.
Okay, so then within our masculine and feminine principles, I wish I could do a screen share and I could show you these beautiful slides. Anyways.
You can send the slides and we'll insert them. So if you speak, I will insert the slides when I put this together.
Okay, that I can do. Let me just take a sip of water from my Wonder Woman cup.
Right. So the slides.
So, here. Slides, check. Now, on the Sacred Intelligence Agency website, there are two buttons. Training is where you go to our academy, and that's where you'll find some of the course material. Deployment is for our allies and companies and the entrepreneurial or the developing innovators and leaders. Okay, so just those two little buttons give you either direction. On the training side in the academy, we'll be sharing the Harmonization of the Masculine and Feminine course. Coming up in about a week or so that's perfect timing for all of this share.
Also, in 1 week, you'll be starting a course on integrating masculine and feminine energy.
Specifically, yes.
Specifically on that subject, so it's perfect timing. Okay, so go to SacredIntelligenceAgency.com. I see that 2 or 3 of the viewers have already put that up on the timeline, so it's up.
Great. There's a psychic skills class, by the way. The number one recommendation that I can give to everyone to get through these times is to feel and create more confidence. How do you create more confidence naturally? Is learning to trust yourself, which is what? Which is intuition, our very first energetic language of communication. So for that, I'm giving everyone the psychic skills intuition class as my gift. So when you go to the website, click on training, and then go to psychic skills, and that's my gift to you, and free psychic skills training so you can build your intuition and trust yourself more. Okay, so let's...
The first skill she's giving out, I'm repeating it. I know that they can hear, but I feel like sometimes they can't, but they seem to be responding. The first skill is intuition, because that will give you confidence. And she said the first thing to get through pandemic, through all the suffering, is self-awareness and confidence. And she's going to teach that first. That's free,
Yes.
right? So yeah, I think, look, I want to not only continue a dialogue. People don't know this, and I shared with you. I'm building a whole community space where teachers will come and give you insight into different ways out of the suffering. And you learn them and they become habits. Don't worry. People always get afraid, Anna. You start talking about teaching a lot. They think or having new habits. They forget that when you get a new habit, the reason you stick to it because it feels good. So you get past one habit, you stop eating animal, and suddenly you don't look the same, you don't feel the same, and you're in a better shape. You're in better shape. And then you get up out of bed happy, you never want to go back to that shit again. You stop smoking cigarettes, and then you fucking breathe. Oh my God. You like the life, I know you like the language. You breathe, right? And you quit certain things that did not helpful. It's like, I smoked the bullful. I shouldn't tell anybody. I know I didn't do it here in this country, but what's it called?
I don't know.
The plant medicine. You ever heard of it? The bullful, the plant, the toad?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, there's this plant medicine that's very popular amongst the yogis. It's from a toad. You smoke it. It's supposed to give you self-awareness. You know what I'm talking about. Of course you know, right? So, sometimes you used it, but I did it. And this idea, and what's interesting about it is that, people say God speaks to you. Everybody says that. They all say they're healed. They stop being alcoholics. They stop taking drugs. They change. And it's because of this. It's a revelation. Say you go left every day. And you know right is the right way, but you have a bad habit of going left. When you have a profound experience, the mind shifts. And you say, well, why did I ever go left? Right feels good. This is the same experience when we shift by habit. If you stop eating toxins, your body will appreciate you and feed you something higher. If you do good things or you practice the things that Anna is teaching, they just become natural. You don't have to be some incredibly resilient, they say people are so tough and resilient because they're able to, and what's the word, persistence and all. No, you wake up, you do what feels good. Because once you've made a habit out of feeling good, you continue. You don't want to go back to feeling bad. And that's what you're teaching them. You're not teaching them some kind of a difficult thing that they have to keep up, a regiment that's tough. It's not tough.
Simple steps, easy practices, things that make you feel good and give you that confidence immediately. Right? And I don't even ask for your email. Just here, have it, honey. Take the class. It's on there. Just go for it. So it's part of the loving it forward, a new energetic currency that we're here to do is we're here to gift it forward first, to love it forward first, to anything we can do to support the awakening and the rise of our unity consciousness is really what it is. Yes, it's the goddess and the feminine is really maturing, as is the divine masculine. It's that mutual embrace that we're finally seeing now and coming through in the 2020, right? The clear sight vision. And that's another thing that we're also seeing in intuition is what I call man-tuition, is claircognizance. It's that knowing and that trust of self that you don't need some factual evidence or somebody else's opinions to tell you what to do. You just know. And that is a very masculine strength of intuition, whereas clairsentience, where you get the tingles or, that belly feeling or whatever, that's a feminine energy. So I get to teach you all of that stuff, just even in that first course. And then the other one, we can go on from there. But I'd love to share the principle and answer that question that you asked me. Can we do that?
Yes.
Real quick? Okay. So here we have most people call it the Trinity, right, of the divine feminine and the Trinity of the divine masculine, right? So we have in the Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva is considered in Hindu philosophy, right?
Birth, life, and rebirth. That's what Brahma and Vishnu, Shiva. Go ahead.
Right?
Yes.
And then we even have Kali, Durga, and Lakshmi, right? If we want to use the divine feminine, that trinity. We have basically it's the maiden, the mother, and the matriarch for the divine feminine. Okay?
The maiden, the mother, and the matriarch for the divine feminine. Go ahead.
Right? And then in the aspect And the feminine is the fierce love, or that creative energy. It's that emotional feeling versus the action or the physical doing. So we bring that into balance. That means that everyone has all of those archetypes at different variables at different times, depending on the situation. That means that we get to remember and feel that it's natural for us to have different expressions and different interests and for things to evolve and change. We're not meant to be in a cubicle life, right? That's a limited expression of who we really are. We're meant to be expansive and ever evolving, just like nature, just like the biomimicry systems of what the true teachings of all sacred texts are here to share.
You know, I feel like there's a lot more to share. We're doing tapings right now all day, but I really want to start a program. I want to tie into what you are teaching because, you know, as I go out into the world to sell my book, I'm going to be seeing a lot more media. You know, I'm going to probably do 60 Minutes. I may do Oprah. I don't know what I'll do, but I'm open to do any of them. But I really want to talk about healing. My book, as you know, Anna, is about, and I've always been one of the things that I've been an activist for and cared a lot about is the animals. And, you know, and that ties into, once you start talking about the animals, you talk about the planet. Then you talk about the planet and the animals, you might as well not kill yourself by eating poison. So right now, we're having an experience where all the pre-existing health conditions are killing people, not the COVID. It's the COVID attacking the heart disease, the diabetes, even the dementia, everything that went clogged arteries of all kinds, all COVID attacks. And so many diseases, cancers, number one cause are animal products. Number one cause. So I want to try to show people a way out of it. And I want to create programs, which is what we're talking about, that will allow people, and tying into your program, that will allow people to go into a portal and find their way and find the things that will help them to get out of the suffering. Because people are in suffering. And there are ways out. And there are teachings that are given to us through scriptures. And, you know, there are different ways that people can digest them. But, you know, when we talk about balancing the masculine and feminine, I think religion has botched up some of that. Without it's not the religion or not the teachers, it's the way it's been translated. Right? Like when I say even the yogis, you know, Krishna came from somewhere. Right? He's the Lord of love. We hear about Krishna. He taught the scripture. Who taught him? Where was he birthed? Right? So there's a lack of understanding in Christian scripture. Like you said something about the Bible, how, you know, it might have started, you know, about the woman and how she was suppressed from the Bible. Or not the Bible, the translations, the understandings.
The story, within that perception, again, the deception of perception that we're having is what is the awakening of the corona. Hello, corona means crown, chakra awakening. That's what this is. And with your book and the food intelligence, it really is essential right now. The most important responsibility we can take for healing the planet. Everyone is focused on, you know, the climate, the world, the humanity. Focus on yourself. As we heal ourselves, we heal the world. Being that living example is what has the greatest ripples of impact. That's the only ROI that really matters. That's the energy that reciprocates and helps everyone else, is you be healthy, and that makes everybody else want to be healthy.
All right. And I love you so much. I'm so happy to see you. Where in the world are you?
I am in the beautiful Victoria, BC, in Canada.
Oh, Canada. See, you know, every time I ask you where you are, you're somewhere in the world, and you tell me. I never know where the fuck that is. You always, I'm in the mountains, and then you say the place, like, I don't know where that is. What country is that? So you're in Canada. You're always somewhere.
You know, I might be in Costa Rica soon.
You have families of yogis everywhere that you visit, and we all appreciate you. All in the yogic community, all of us look up to you, and we appreciate how much study you have. But you know, with all the study, doesn't mean anything it means a lot. It's good to give knowledge. But to feel, yoga is not a thing you learn, it's a thing you achieve. It becomes you. It is you. So to dig, yeah, so you are a person who exudes the light you speak of. And for that, we love you. And so thank you for joining us today. I'm looking forward to spending more time with you and also connecting your program. One more time. Say DivineIntelligenceAgency.com. And the new program on connecting the feminine and the masculine begins next week. So if you go to Divine Intelligence...
Russell, sacred intelligence. Sacred, you said divine.
I said divine? What is it? I took so many drugs as a child. I took so many... Not the Bofu, the real drugs. I took the other shit. Okay, Sacred Intelligence Agency.com. SacredIntelligenceAgency.com. Program begins next week. That's the first of many programs that we're going to go through together with Anna. And we're deeply appreciative of your energy and of your knowledge. Thank you for sharing the time with us. Love you.
Thank you. Love you, Russell.
Bye. So you screenshot all that.
Yeah, ready.
So it'll be okay either way, right? Okay, that was good, right?
Alright. So for the closing, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.
Don't
Okay. Ready in 3, 2, 1.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Right? All right.
Nice.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Right? That all?
Yeah.
Don't forget, subscribe, like, comment.
Comment.
All right, thank you.
Alright, here we go.